CARICOM and Mexico agree to strengthen cooperation in disaster risk management. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, October 26. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. CARICOM countries will be working with their Central American neighbor to cooperate more in disaster risk management, and that will be done through the development of a strategy for comprehensive disaster risk management. The strategy was announced by CARICOM Chairman Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell at the close of the 4th CARICOM Mexico Summit in Belize on Wednesday night. He acknowledged that both CARICOM and Mexico have suffered immensely in recent times from natural disasters which have claimed lives and cost billions of dollars in damage. He said the disaster risk management strategy will, among other things, seek international support for economic financing.
We discussed also how best to increase the resilience of our countries to the force of climate change and committed to strengthen cooperation within the region and our development partners, international organizations and agencies towards enhancing support for greater adaptation and mitigation measures. These include implementation of sustainable energy technology and early warning systems to strengthen resilience and reduce vulnerabilities. We'll also take joint action in multilateral fora and internationally to mobilize support in further strengthening the CARICOM institutional capabilities to disaster risk management, including on economic issues such as graduation as high-income countries and preventing de-risking measures.
Dr. Mitchell said the issue of de-risking will be front and center of talks at a donor conference to be held at the United Nations headquarters on November 21st. The main aim of the conference is to mobilize international support for hurricane relief efforts in the region on the heels of two destructive Category 5 hurricanes, Irma and Maria. Wednesday's summit also approved the 7th Mexico CARICOM Technical Cooperation Program, which runs from 2017 to 2019 and sets out a new paradigm for cooperation.
We'll seek to reinforce investment and trade between Mexico and the Caribbean region through strategic activities led by pro-Mexico and investment promotion agencies in the Caribbean. We also agreed that our foreign ministers would meet to consider a roadmap to look at the new forms of cooperation which will enhance and accelerate development in our community.
The meeting also welcomed the offer by Mexico of 150 scholarships for training Caribbean teachers of Spanish as well as a secondary language, which should further strengthen communication between the two sides. Meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago could benefit from a trade arrangement with Mexico. Shortly after returning from the CARICOM Mexico Summit on Thursday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley told a press conference there is an agreement in principle to formulate an arrangement where a limited number of goods produced in the Twin Island Republic can gain preferential access to the Mexican market. Dr. Rowley says this is one way the country can begin to diversify its economy.
Discussing with Trinidad and Tobago the establishment of a partial scope agreement, which means that we'll agree on what products from Trinidad and Tobago can have access to the Mexican market under preferential arrangements. And these partial scope agreements are usually worked out in such a way that the bigger economy doesn't swamp the smaller economy. It allows the smaller economy to enter and produce goods for the larger economy in a protected kind of way to allow that growth. So in Trinidad and Tobago, where our manufacturers manufacture for a 1.3 million home market and a 7 or 8 million plus Haiti in the Caribbean, if we get manufacturers in Trinidad and Tobago to have any access to the Mexican market, even 1% of the Mexican market is huge for us.
Dr. Rowley says a similar agreement exists between Trinidad and Tobago and Costa Rica, and one is in the making with Chile. He says Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto has already instructed his foreign minister to start discussions.
Next week or two, our foreign minister, our trade minister would meet with the Mexicans to pursue this, and we're hoping that we could work out these agreements in short order. It involves examining all the products that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, see what can go into the Mexican market. And if we do get a partial scope agreement, then it means that we can encourage our private sector people to expand their production in the various arrangements that we have for production expansion and to find partners and counterparts in the Mexican economy and seek to establish greater production here, which would be all for the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago.
Still in Trinidad and Tobago, the High Court has awarded costs to the ruling People's National Movement in 5 election petition challenges filed by the main opposition United National Congress, the UNC. Following the September 2015 general election, the UNC had challenged the results in 5 constituencies, including St. Joseph, San Fernando West, La Joqueta, Talparo, Toco, Sangre Grande, Tunapuna and Moruga Tableland. But a High Court judge a year ago ruled against the party, stating that the polls were free and fair and that there were no irregularities as had been outlined by the UNC. The Prime Minister says he finds the local media silent on the matter.
The court last week has granted cost to the PNM members in the tune, I expect, of millions of dollars, and we expect to collect every cent of it. And I notice that that major development has not made the news in Trinidad and Tobago. When they were parading that we were an illegitimate government because we got 5 seats through EBC underhandness and the court can overturn it and la 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 la. And when the court agreed to hear the matter, it was a major victory for senior councils on the other side.
Staying with election petitions, lawyers for the opposition New Democratic Party in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have rejected a proposal to inspect only 4 unused ballot boxes in the December 2015 general election. The NDP had filed the election petitions challenging the outcome of the results in the North Windward and Central Leeward constituencies. The ruling Unity Labour Party won the election by an 8-7 margin, giving Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves a 4th consecutive term in office. Queen's Counsel Stanley Chalky John is heading the petitioners' legal team and spoke to our correspondent Kenton Chance.
We thought we had an agreement, and essential to that agreement is that at some point when it's appropriate, after the inspection of these 4 ballot boxes that we had agreed on, the petitioners would be able to seek inspection of other ballot boxes. But it seems that the other side doesn't think that.
But the impression I get from them is that the agreement was just for these 4 ballot boxes, and they were taken aback by the insistence or suggestion of the petitioners that they be able to inspect all 15 ballot boxes as you placed on the record this morning.
The agreement was for the inspection of these first 4 ballot boxes, but having inspected them, that the petitioners would be able to inspect further ballot boxes.
You also said in court this morning that you'd be surprised if the respondents were surprised by your reservations, your objections to what they presented to the court. Can you help us to understand what exactly was meant by that?
Simply because of the discussions we had when we arrived at this, and I don't think I want to speak to the media about what I discussed with counsel. But we have correspondence that reflect exactly the basis on which we agreed to the inspection in the first instance of those 4.
Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, the EU providing hundreds of thousands of dollars in more humanitarian aid to hurricane-ravaged Dominica. Stay with us, there's more news after the break.
From November 16th to 19th, 2017 for the Barbados Food and Rum Festival, where acclaimed Barbadian chefs and mixologists are joined by Chef Jean-Georges of the US, Chef Tom Akins of the UK, Chef Chris De La Rosa of Canada, to create dining experiences to delight the senses. Visit goingplacestravel.com to book your packages and visit www.foodandrum.com for more information.
Be strong, Caribbean Strong. The relief concert and telethon, Caribbean Strong. Sunday, October 29th, Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, the Caribbean's biggest stars.
When we get together this time, our voices will be heard and will lift all spirits to be Caribbean Strong.
I'm here to encourage you to be the best.
The United Artists of the Caribbean, Machelle Montano, Shaggy, Tian Winter, Vegas, Ricardo Drew, Conscience, and many more.
Barbuda did not stand the faintest chance against such size, such ferocity, and such intensity. There is now no permanent resident on Barbuda.
Hey, be brave and know it's just a test. Yeah, yeah.
Caribbean Strong, the relief concert.
The European Union is providing an additional 500,000 euros in humanitarian aid to Dominica, following the severe destruction caused by Hurricane Maria last month. On September 18, Category 5 Hurricane Maria directly hit Dominica, leaving more than 70,000 people in need of urgent relief. Andraula Caminara, ECHO's Director of Operations for Latin America and the Caribbean, says the aim is to increase support to families who are displaced and living in collective centers or with host families since the hurricane. The additional aid will provide immediate shelter and household material for 5,000 vulnerable families in Dominica. Shelter kits as well as house repairing material, training and technical support will be provided to the most vulnerable whose homes have been damaged. This additional humanitarian aid complements an initial grant of 250,000 euros, which was allocated last month to alleviate the affected population's most urgent needs. In Jamaica, a senior lawman says the Zones of Special Operations, ZOSO, which gives law enforcement special powers to fight crime in specific areas, is not having as much of an impact on crime across the northwestern parish of St. James as was hoped. ZOSO was established in Mount Salem, St. James on September 1, but Senior Superintendent of Police in charge of the St. James Division, Marlon Nesbitt, says while it has positively impacted that community and some neighboring areas, its reach is limited. Herman Green.
Police have made a few arrests and seized several illegal firearms in the zone, and residents have seen a significant reduction in crime. It was widely believed that, based on the disruption of criminal activity in the community, there would be a ripple effect in other areas of St. James because of the restrictions imposed by the security forces. However, SSP Nesbitt says the crime problem in the parish is significant and needs more than zones of special operations.
We have at least 4 gangs, 3 very active that normally operate in that area. And they, over time and prior to Zozo, would have created a lot of issues for the police, a lot of shootings, a lot of murders. Since Zozo, we have not had any of those issues. And Zozo impacts, in a general way, nearby communities also outside of Mount Salem. I will agree that we have seen some crime situation that one would have hoped that Zozo would have impacted across St. James, but I don't think Zozo would have that type of reach based on what is being done there, how it's unfolding. The resource around Zozo can't fix St. James.
9 murders were recorded in St. James between Saturday and Sunday.
And Bahamas Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis has announced a shift in the country's immigration policy regarding the granting of citizenship, but he says it will be fair and just.
What I am doing is respecting and carrying out the laws of the Bahamas.
And based on this view, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis is prepared to make sweeping changes to the immigration policy to allow a quicker response to what has been an outstanding issue for years. First up is changing the way citizenship is granted, moving the process out of the hands of politicians.
I am not sitting down at no thousands of applications to do it. We have sufficient honest, respectable individuals who understand the law and who can deal with it in an expeditious manner and fairly adhering to the law. Full stop.
There are thousands of people waiting for citizenship and residency, and the Prime Minister says it's something the Cabinet should not have to do to add to its already busy agenda. Some applicants awaiting citizenship and residency approvals have been waiting decades.
The process as it is today, must go through cabinet. And of course, there are backlogs, individuals waiting for years, in excess, sometimes 10 years. And many young people especially can be marginalized, cannot receive proper documentation, etc. In order for fair play and to expedite and deal with individuals as quickly as possible, in keeping with the law, it would be better for us to have an independent body or committee that would decide these on a regular basis so as to deal with backlogs, etc.
Referring to his announcement in the House of Assembly regarding the immigration policy and that year-end deadline for illegals to leave, Dr. Minnis says it's not about Haitians only, but anyone from any country here illegally. The deadline includes Bahamians who illegally employ individuals.
After the end of this year, we will aggressively pursue illegals regardless of color or nationality. If you harbor or hire illegals, I don't care, black, white, or whatever, you will be prosecuted. The law is the law, and we must start enforcing and abiding by our laws.
And that was Bahamas' Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, ending that report by Clint Watson of ZNS Network News. And ahead of Newsline Sports, a masseuse therapist testifies about the impact Chris Gayle flashing his genitals during the 2015 World Cup had on her. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Be strong. Caribbean Strong. The relief concert and telethon, Caribbean Strong. Sunday, October 29th, Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, the Caribbean's biggest stars.
When we get together this time, our voices will be heard and will lift all spirits to be Caribbean Strong.
I'm here to encourage you to be the best.
The United Artists of the Caribbean, Machelle Montano, Shaggy, Tian Winter, Vegas, Ricardo Drew, Conscience, and many more.
Barbuda did not stand the faintest chance against such size, such ferocity, and such intensity. There is now no permanent resident on Barbuda.
Be brave, I know it's just a test. Yeah.
Caribbean Strong, the relief concert.
Join us from November 16th to 19th, 2017 for the Barbados Food and Rum Festival, where acclaimed Barbadian chefs and mixologists are joined by Chef Jean-Georges of the US, Chef Tom Akins of the UK, Chef Chris De La Rosa of Canada, to create dining experiences to delight the senses. Visit goingplacestravel.com to book your packages and visit www.foodandrum.com for more information.
You see our starter there in the water, and he's raised it. They're taking off. Sam holds his hand in the air, saying he's not quite ready to go. Waits for the wave, puts it down, and they let him go. Sam's off. Watch the air. He gets off of this. It is rough conditions out there today. Sam didn't get the whole shot. He normally does. You see the two competitors on his right. Watch as Sam dives to this buoy.
The masseuse therapist for the West Indies cricket team says she was crying uncontrollably after Chris Gayle flashed his genitals during the 2015 World Cup. This was Leanne Russell's testimony when she appeared before an Australian court on behalf of Fairfax Media. The media house is being sued by Gayle in a defamation lawsuit over a series of articles about the encounter. We get this report from News 7 in Australia.
Leanne Russell arrived with two support people who haven't left her side outside and inside the courtroom. Miss Russell was a massage therapist for the West Indies team. She says Gayle flashed her inside a change room in Sydney during the team's training session in February 2015. She says she walked into the room to grab a sandwich and Gayle was standing there with batsman Dwayne Smith. Gayle asked her what she was looking for. He then pulled down his towel and exposed his genitals. She said she put her hands over her eyes and walked out, saying she was horrified and that she sat in the stands for about 2 hours crying uncontrollably like a child. She got in contact with Fairfax Media 11 months later after seeing Gale's interview with Mel McLaughlin during the Big Bash in 2016. The Sydney Morning Herald, The Age and the Canberra Times then published a series of articles about the alleged flashing incident. Of that interview, she said it made her feel upset and furious that women were made to feel uncomfortable in the industry, that people like Chris can decide whether they're successful or not.
A wet outfield has forced the abandonment of the first day of play in the opening match between Trinidad and Tobago Red Force and Barbados Pride in regional 4-day tournament on Thursday. Barbados Pride elected to field after winning the toss. Medium pacer Justin Graves had managed to deliver only 4 balls before umpires stopped play. Opening batsmen Amir Jangu and Jeremy Solanzo are yet to score for TNT. Over at National Cricket Stadium, the host Guyana Jaguars closed the day's play on 258 for 8 after they were sent in to bat by Jamaica Scorpions. Middle order batsman Anthony Bramble top scored with 62 while Tagnarayan Chandapal added 60 from 102 balls. Stefan Rutherford chipped in with 45. Pick of the bowling was Dimani Sewell. He had figures of 3 for 6, while Derval Green and Dennis Bully picked up 2 wickets each. West Indies A head coach Graham West says stroke maker Sunil Ambrose seems to have taken his batting to a different level. The right-hander has been the leading batsman in the ongoing series against Sri Lanka A, scoring 176 runs in 3 innings at an average of 58. The 24-year-old Ambrose has been a rich vein of form dating back to the last first-class season when he plundered 608 runs at an average of 43. West Indies praised off-spinning all-rounder that's Rakeen Cornwall, who has taken 13 wickets in the 2 tests and acquitted himself well with the bat. Antigua Cornwall is believed to be on the verge of senior team selection following consistent performances for Windies A for native Leeward Islands Hurricanes. Jamaican fast bowler O'Shane Thomas also caught West Indies' eyes despite taking just 2 wickets in the 2nd test, his first game of the series. The 20-year-old was called up to the A side after a single first-class match, but West said he was already exhibiting key qualities. New Zealand cricket is anxiously anticipating the arrival of West Indies women, with preparations already underway for the one-day and T20 series starting next March. The White Ferns host the Caribbean side in 3 ICC Women's Championship matches from March 4 to 11 before clashing again with the Tourists in 5 T20 internationals from March 14 to 25. New Zealand women head coach Hadi Tiffin said the presence of the reigning T20 World Champions would be a massive boost. Windies women's last tour against New Zealand 3 years ago was a disastrous one as they lost every international, swept 3-0 in the ODI series and 4-0 in the 5-match T20 series. The first 2 ODIs will be played at the Perth Oval on March 4 and 8, with the final match set for Hagley Oval 3 days later. Meanwhile, Bay Oval will host the 2 opening T20s on March 14 and 16, while Punkura Park in New Plymouth will be the stage for the 3rd and 4th games on March 20 and 22. The final match is set for Sidon Park in Hamilton on March 25. We're going to switch sports now. More than 200 people turned out at the L.F. Wade International Airport to welcome home Bermuda's triumphant players from the CONCACAF Caribbean Women's Under-17 qualifying tournament in Haiti. Bermuda clinched one of 2 automatic qualifying spots after winning their group before losing 4-1 against the host nation in the final of the qualifying tournament at the Stade Silvio Carto in Port-au-Prince last weekend. We get more in this report.
Women's national football team arrived back at the L.F. Wade International Airport last evening to a hero's welcome after competing in the CONCACAF Under-17 Girls Championships in Haiti. They were met by more than 200 people that included Premier of Bermuda, David Burt.
The support for our young ladies has been incredible. What they've accomplished is great. It must be celebrated, and we look forward to them accomplishing more things. It is an honor to be here to represent the people of Bermuda, and it is an honor for me to say, on behalf of all of you and everyone in Bermuda, congratulations on your accomplishment.
Coach Aaron Denkins highlighted the team's accomplishments on this trip.
We were the youngest team in the tournament. We had the youngest captain, leading goal scorer. We were the only team to score on Haiti. We maintained our unbeaten streak against Trinidad. So well done, girls.
Captain Denny Watson thanked everyone for her team.
I am in shock at how many people are here. I'm really happy with all the support that we've gotten from the whole island. I wish that our overseas players could be here to get all of this love and support that we hear from everybody. Our girls worked really, really hard for this opportunity that we've earned by working our tails off 6 days a week. We've trained, we've worked, we put in the extra time, the extra energy, training on our own. I really just want to thank everybody for supporting us. This is really overwhelming, and I know my team will say the same. Thank you so much. We love you guys, and thank you.
And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Come, sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh, look, listen, feel, realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
Barbados, it's gonna be lit. FAS 7-star Hennessy and Yellow present Hennessy Artistry, featuring international superstar Beres Hammond, Sizzler,
Cry, even tears.
Movado, Pasfana Fox, Little Rick, and Nikita. And for the first time in Barbados, Tory Lanez. Hosted by Vane and Peter Coppin, the Hennessy experience of a lifetime.
Everyone falls in love sometimes.
Hennessy Artistry, December 2nd, Kensington Oval. Welcome to the weekend. Hennessy, never stop, never settle. Flaunt your taste responsibly.
Come, sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh, look, listen, feel, realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Do have yourselves a good night.